They say some people do deeds in this world whose names are erased from history books. But some names, Allah Himself records in the Qur'an as an eternal curse. This is the story of one such woman, whose heart was full of hatred, whose mouth poured words like poison, and whose end was so dreadful that even Satan would look on in fear. She was Jamil, called the darkest woman in the history of Islam, a woman whom Allah Himself cursed, whose name is forever written in Surah Al-Masad. Today, we will hear the dark chapter of her life, a tale that is not only history, but a warning. For every proud soul, Jamil was born into the Quraysh tribe, one of the most respected and powerful families of Mecca. Her father was Harb ibn Umayyah, a significant leader of Makkah, and in that bloodline ran pride, power, and royal arrogance. She was raised amid plenty, surrounded by golden ornaments and servants. But even amid that luxury, a poison took root in her heart. Pride, envy, and a lust for power. At a young age, she married Abu Lahab, a wealthy businessman of Mecca and an uncle of the Prophet Muhammad. Their marriage united two influential families. People said, "What a royal pairing." But nobody knew that this pair would one day become the symbol of a divine curse in Islamic history. When the Prophet Muhammad announced prophethood from Allah, the air in Mecca changed. People split into two groups, those who followed the truth and those who clung to power. For Jamil, that announcement was a nightmare. She thought, if Muhammad is truly a prophet, the rule of Quraysh will be broken. Our name, our influence, everything will be erased. For her, Islam was not a question of truth or faith. It was a fight to protect her own power. Jamil was clever, but her intelligence was sharp like poison. She knew how to influence people's minds. Gathering the women of Mecca around her, she began spreading rumors, slanders, and fear against the Prophet. She would say, "Muhammad is creating division. He is a madman. He is insulting our gods." Each of her words spread like fire. Women repeated her words in the marketplace, in courtyards, even around the Kaaba. She became the first female propagandist against Islam. But the greatest fire inside Jamil was envy. She hated Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, the Prophet's wife and one of the most respected women of Mecca. Khadija's beauty, intelligence and dignity wounded Jamil's pride. She told the women of Mecca, "If you associate with Khadija, I will ostracize you from society." Yet Khadija's steadfast faith and love for the Prophet crushed Jamil's conspiracies. One day, the Prophet was standing in prayer near the Kaaba. Jamil and Abu Lahab with their followers shouted, "Throw filth at him." They rained insult upon the most upright man. The Prophet quietly turned his face to Allah and said, "O Allah, forgive them, for they know not." That patience maddened Jamil even more. She began planning new schemes to destroy Islam, boycotting the Muslims, socially excluding them, intimidating them, and even plotting to assassinate the Prophet. Then one day, the heavens revealed Surah Al-Masad, and the Prophet recited, "Perish the hands of Abu Lahab, and perish he. His wealth and his gains will not benefit him. He will burn in a flaming fire. And his wife, the carrier of firewood, around her neck is a rope of twisted fiber." These verses came down from the sky and fell over Mecca like a silent explosion. People were stunned. Allah Himself mentioned a woman by name and cursed her. Hearing this verse, Jamil became furious and enraged. Grasping a stone, she rushed toward Masjid al-Haram. "I will finish him off today," she shouted. But when she reached where the Prophet was, by Allah's will, she could not see him. Though he was present before her eyes, she became blind to him. She shouted to Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, "Where is your friend? I will kill him." Yet the Prophet was safe, and Jamil left humiliated, like a defeated monster. Abu Lahab later suffered a terrible affliction. His body decayed and emitted such a stench that no one dared come near. In the end, no one even touched his body. Stones were thrown, and his corpse was cast into a pit from a distance. Jamil too was left alone. The woman who had once been the queen of Mecca became an abandoned shadow. Her death was tragic. Some say a stone fell on her throat and suffocated her. Others say she died by being strangled with a rope. Whatever the case, Surah Al-Masad's prophecy came true. Around her neck indeed was placed the twisted rope. Jamil and Abu Lahab thought their wealth, status and power would protect them. But no one escapes Allah's judgment. Their story teaches us today, pride, envy and hatred for the truth can push a person into such darkness from which there is no return. O Allah, purify our hearts from pride, protect our tongues from degrading others, and keep us on the path where the Prophet and his righteous companions stood. Ameen. If this story touched your heart, then like, comment and share so this message reaches more people. And remember, some stories are not meant to frighten but to awaken.